Okay, this is part 3. We're going to go ahead and get the topping choices, figure out how much they cost, figure out the total food cost and the tip. So the next couple of big steps. So let's go over to our code. I'll minimize this. And all right, we're ready to figure out the topping cost. I'm going to need a, let's put these on their own lines, by the way. Whoops. Gotta say Jim here. And this one. Oh, I see. I'm missing a comma. See, sometimes the message they give you is helpful, sometimes it's not. All right. Let's do a dim here. Oh, I don't need a comma. That's a problem. Okay, let's try that. Fine. Now, we're going to need a variable for the topping cost, so let's create that. Dim topping cost as double. Now, I'm going to do the receipt and the whole computation a little differently than I did the other one. One thing to say is there's not infinitely many, but certainly a ton of reasonable ways. There's probably infinitely many unreasonable ways, but there's a ton of reasonable ways to do even a simple program like this. So don't think yours has to be exactly the same, although it's easiest to follow my model when you're first starting. But just think it through and make sure you have a process that works before you start programming. You don't want to just throw code at it. Here's the bottom line. So let's put in here that we're going to get the cost of the toppings. Now the thing with the toppings is I could have some or all or none. So what I'm going to do is start out with the topping cost equal to 0. And if I don't have any toppings selected, I won't get any. It'll stay 0. So I'm just going to say now, I'm going to check each one. So if, and these are check boxes, check cream.value equals true, then, and let me actually put my end if in. So what I want to say is in this case I'm going to increase the topping cost by adding on to it. So adding on to the same thing. You'll see why I'm using this pattern in a minute. Topping cost plus the number of scoops times, where's my times? There it is, cream cost. Okay. Now what I'm going to do is copy this and have a similar one for each of the other toppings. So let's go ahead and copy, and then I'm going to paste it a couple times. Oops. Get this guy lined up, and one more. Too bad this doesn't automatically indent. But there we go. Now I'm going to change it so this will be fudge. Fudge cost. Now, it's fine to take a shortcut like this, but the only thing is you have to make sure you change everything to be consistent. So, not just this, but also that. Same thing with, now we're going to have sprinkles. think I called it sprinkle cost. If I didn't, this is why I put option explicit. If I didn't call that, let's say call it sprinkles cost with an S, then when I run the program, Excel is going to tell me that I have an undeclared variable. And I'll know to come back and fix it. If I don't have option explicit in, it would just use 0. It would just treat it as a new variable, and we don't want that. We want to find out if we misspelled something. That's the biggest reason to use option explicit, really. Okay, so now let's say compute the cost of the ice cream topping the ice cream and toppings and tip. Now I want to do the tip on the cost of the food. So I think what I'll do is set up a variable for myself here called the food cost. And the food cost is going to be the scoop cost plus the topping cost. See, this is nice because if I didn't have any toppings, I'm just adding 0, no problem. And then I figure out the tip amount on the food cost. Now I haven't dealt with the spoon yet. That'll be the final phase. So, okay, now we have to take care of this receipt. So we're down to the cost of the ice cream. Let's make a few blank lines here. And now we want to handle the toppings. Now, we want a nice receipt that doesn't mention toppings if you didn't choose any. So what I'm going to say is if topping cost is bigger than 0, that's one way to know that I've chosen some toppings. Then, and I'm going to put my end if. Then I'm going to say list receipt.add item, and I'm going to say topped with, and then I'm going to check which things I have chosen and put a line in for each of those. So, okay, that's the first thing I want to do. And now I'm going to have a nested if. So I'm going to say if cream cost dot value equals true, then I'm going to put in list receipt dot add item, and I'm going to put a quote, and I'm going to indent it a little by doing this, and then I'll say whipped cream. Okay, so that's the one for the whipped cream. Then let's copy this, and I'm going to paste it and have one for the fudge and one for the sprinkles. Paste. And again. Alright, and now let's just fix these up. So this is the fudge. And I'm going to say hot fudge. It just saves me some typing. I could have typed them over. And this one's for sprinkles. Oh, what am I doing? Oh, so sorry. This should be check cream. Oh. Well, I'm not going to do this over. Check fudge. Let's spell this one right. And check sprinkles. You'll see I make lots of mistakes, but I fix them. And I don't know, maybe not everybody makes as many mistakes as I do, but it's fairly typical, so don't get discouraged if it happens to you. Alright, so I'm saving this, and let's give it a shot. This is another reason why I want to do things a little bit at a time and keep testing. So, okay, here we go. Let's run it. Alright, so far so good. And I'm going to buy 2 scoops of chocolate, and let's top it with everything and see what happens. Nope, didn't show up. So, what went wrong? Let's see. Topping cost. Price. It should have been price. Well, okay. It should have told me that I didn't have a variable called that. Times F U G G. Well, I'm telling myself this is instructive for you. Cream price. Okay, let's save it. Sorry, save. And now go to Excel. Run. Okay, 2 scoops. Chocolate, topped with everything. Yay. Okay, here it is. So I got it working. Now, let's give another try. Let's say I just pick one thing. Good. Let's say I don't pick anything. I don't want topped with to show up. And it didn't. Okay, so far, so good. So, in the next one, we're going to finish up by handling the spoon aspect also. So, I apologize for the mistakes, but on the other hand, like I say, I think they're instructive for you to see and see how to deal with them, what happens. So, and this is why I keep on testing, just adding a little code. One aspect, test that, then the next one, then the next one, so I can clean up whatever I did before I go on to the next thing, and I don't have a giant mess to clean up all at once.